यस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगना रघुनाथं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नाम्ने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरतुषे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Welcome everyone. We're studying Nectar of Instruction. Last time we did the introduction, an overview, came to know certain things about Srila Rupa Goswami. So today we'll look at the preface of the book and then also start with the text one. You can hear me clearly? Yeah? Okay. So in the preface of this book, Nectar of Instruction, Srila Prabhupada talks about the goal of Krishna consciousness and the means to achieve it. He wrote down this preface on September 20, 1975. The Vaishnava Tithi of that day was Vishwarup Mahotsav. And Vishwarup Mahotsav is the day on which Srila Prabhupada took sannyas. So after 26 years of him taking sannyas, on that same Tithi, he wrote down the preface to this book called Nectar of Instruction. So we'll briefly go through the slides, then we'll read the preface. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we all know, appeared in Gaudadesh. So you can look at the map there, the map of India. So in those days, the Indian subcontinent was divided into different dynasties or areas ruled by different kings. So there was the Cholukyas, then there was the Harshas, and then there was this area which included the West Bengal, Odisha, Bihar, Bangladesh, the Northeast India. And this area was known as Gauda Desh. So the Vaishnavas belonging to this area or this zone came to be known as Gaudiyas. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in that era, and because he had the most strong influence on Vaishnavism in that area, in that era, so all the Vaishnavas of that area came to be known as Gaudiya Vaishnavas, the followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They were also known as the Bengali Vaishnavas. Now, of these so many disciples of Mahaprabhu, I mean followers of Mahaprabhu, the six Goswamis of Vrindavan were the direct disciples. Hmm? Direct disciples. Now, who is Sri Chaitanya? We know Sri Chaitanya is Sri Krishna, Chaitanya, Radha Krishna, Nahi Anya. Hmm? He is non-different from Radha and Krishna. He came down to human society to bestow upon us the benediction of the science of Krishna. What is Krishna's science? Krishna's science is the science of bhakti, the science of pure love. And who is the most exalted of all the devotees of Krishna? The gopis. Hmm. Yesterday only I read a very beautiful quote of Sri Srimad Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj. So Maharaj says, most of the people in this world, they are concerned about their own happiness. Hmm. But a great personality is someone who thinks less about one's own happiness and thinks more about others' happiness. That's a great personality. That person is called Mahat. Mahat means great. Why? Because that person doesn't think about personal happiness, but thinks about others' happiness. Or thinks very less about one's own happiness. Right? Then he says, but there are people who are greater than them also. Why? They are hardly bothered about their happiness. They are always working to make others happy. So they are known as Sumahat. Sumahat means very great. Very, very great. And then he said, but there is another category of people who make others happy at the cost of their own happiness, which means they may suffer, but they want to make others happy. And if they are trying to make Krishna happy at the cost of their own happiness, then they are the gopis of Vrindavan. They want to make Krishna happy at the cost of their own happiness. So then such personalities are known as Param Mahat. Param Mahat means supremely great personalities. So the gopis are supremely great devotees of Krishna. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to teach that level of devotion, that highest level of devotion. He wanted to teach bhakti in the mode of Srimati Radharani, who is the best of the gopis. Therefore, Prabhupada mentions here in the purport, if you want to understand the mission of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and follow in its footsteps, you must be very serious to follow in the footsteps of the six Goswamis of Vrindavan. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatt Raghunath, Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatt Das Raghunath. That's what is mentioned here. Must be very serious to follow in the footsteps of six Goswamis of Vrindavan. Right. Let's read the preface now. Okay. Someone please volunteer. Aishwarya Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. The Krishna consciousness movement is conducted under the supervision of Srila Rupa Goswami. The Gauriya Vaishnavas or Bengal Vaishnavas are mostly followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of whom the six Goswamis of Vrindavan are direct disciples. Therefore, Sri Narottam Das Thakur had sung Rupa Raghunath Pade Hoibe Akuti Kobe Habe Bujhaba She Jugul Piriti.
Yeah.
When I'm eager to understand the literature given by the Goswamis, then I shall be able to understand the transcendental loving affairs of Radha and Krishna. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in order to bestow upon human society the benediction of the science of Krishna. The most exalted of all the activities of Lord Krishna are his pastimes of conjugal love with the gopis. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in the mood of Srimati Radharani, the best of the gopis. Therefore, to understand the mission of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and follow his footsteps, one must very seriously follow in the footsteps of the six Goswamis, Sri Rupa Sanatana Bhatt Raghunath, Sri Jiva Gopal Bhatt, and Das Raghunath.
Yes. Rupa Raghunatha Pade Hoime Akuti Kavi Ham Bhushava Se Yugala Priti. You know? So this says, when I will develop attachment to the lotus feet of Rupa Raghunath, then will I be able to worship and understand the the love of Radha and Krishna. Then I'll be able to understand their love. Otherwise, I won't be able to understand their love. Okay. Next paragraph. Someone else. Madhumati Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam to you. Sri Rupa Goswami was the leader of all the Goswamis, and to guide our activities, he gave us the Upadesh Matra, the nectar of instruction to follow. As Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left behind him the 8 verses known as Shikshastaka, Rupa Goswami gave us Upadesh Matra so that we may become pure Vaishnavas. Should I read?
Yeah.
In all spiritual affairs, one's first duty is to control his mind and senses. Unless one controls his mind and senses, one cannot take any advancement in spiritual life. Everyone within this material world is engrossed in the modes of passion and ignorance. One must promote himself to the platform of goodness, Sattva Guna, by following the instructions of Rupa Goswami, and then everything concerning how to make further progress will be revealed. Hare Krishna.
So, just like Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu summarized all his teachings into 8 verses, Rupa Goswami has summarized his teachings in these 11 verses. And the first teaching of the book is, you must control your mind and senses. So that's where Rupa Goswami begins from. One must control his mind and senses. That is the only way to make advancement in spiritual life. Why one should control one's mind and senses? Because to achieve any goal in life, you need to do certain things and you need to avoid certain things. And if you don't have control over mind and senses, then you will not be able to tell the mind what to do, what not to do. You will not be able to tell the senses what to do, what not to do. Hmm? So those people who are goalless in life, they are the most indisciplined people in this world, right? Forget about spiritual purpose. Even if they don't have material purpose in life, they are the most indisciplined people. They don't have a time to get up. They don't have a time to sleep. They don't have a time to eat. Hmm? Right? They don't follow anything, any routine, nothing. Hmm? So the most undisciplined. Why? Because they don't have a goal, no purpose. So if one has a great purpose, then one needs to have a great control on one's mind and senses. Right? And because the purpose of Krishna consciousness is the greatest purpose, so then one must have complete control over mind and senses. Then one can make advancement in spiritual life. Now, for those who are engrossed in Rajaguna and Tamoguna, it's not possible to control mind and senses. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada says, one must rise himself to the platform of Sattva Guna by following the instructions of Rupa Goswami. Then one can control the mind and senses. And once the mind and senses are controlled, then everything concerning how to make further progress will be revealed. Now, this is very interesting. It's not said that, okay, you control your mind and senses, and then you go and study a different higher book, and then you'll come to know what is the next step in Krishna consciousness. Where it says, once you're able to control your mind and senses, then the everything concerning how to make further progress will be revealed. Which means what? The practical implementation of the instructions given in the scriptures, they get revealed. They are not taught in a classroom. What are taught in a classroom are are the framework, the structure, you know. But how do you decode all that for your personal application? That is not taught in the classroom. That is revealed within the heart. You know? Like to give an example, we might hear an instruction. You should chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra attentively. Now, when I say attentively, what it means to be attentive while chanting Hare Krishna is not a theoretical, um, you know, theoretical understanding. It's basically a practical experience. Mm. Externally, a person may look very attentive, but internally, that person may be very disturbed. Mm. So that is your own experience. Whether you are attentive or not, no one can say, but you can say, or you can understand. It's your practical experience. When you are attentively chanting Hare Krishna, you can feel that potency of the holy name, strengthening your heart, making your heart very, very satisfied. So now that practical experience of whether I'm attentive or not, my mind is going here or not, what am I thinking about? That all is revealed within the heart. How much attentive I am. Do I ever do attentive chanting? And when I do my attentive chanting, what is the experience? That experience, no one can actually teach us that. We have to feel, experience, right? So that's why he said the further progress process will be revealed. It will be taught to us. Mhm. Okay. Yes. So these are the six Goswamis you can see on the screen. Mhm. Rupa Sanatana Jiva Raghunath Bhatt Raghunath Gopal Bhatt and Raghunath Das. These are the six Goswamis. Right? So can you identify who is who? No?
They all look very similar.
They all look very similar, of course. So how do we identify who is who? They all look very similar. Huh?
Can I try?
Try, okay. Guess.
So, um, from right to left, fourth one would be Rupa Goswami.
Right to left
Fourth.
to left. Okay, no. So the way we understand these paintings or any such painting is we need to understand the etiquette of standing next to each other. So the Vaishnava etiquette or the Vedic etiquette of standing next to a person is that if the person is elderly to you, senior to you, so you keep that person to your right. Like to give you an example, Radha and Krishna. Krishna is right towards the right of Radharani. Krishna and Balram. Balramji is to the right of Krishna. Gaur Nitai, Nityananda is to the right of Gauranga. Why? Because Nityananda is elderly to Gauranga, Balram is elderly to Krishna, Krishna is elderly to Srimati Radharani. Right? Hmm. So, and the another way of understanding standing of people is that the people who are most senior and important, they'll be always in the middle, not in the corner. Correct? Isn't it? Hmm. So there are six here. So we can know that the middle two people have to be Rupa and Sanatan. Right? They have to be Rupa and Sanatan. And amongst them also who is elderly? Sanatan is elderly. Right? So it has to be here. This personality has to be, just a second. I need to change the color. This personality has to be Rupa. And this personality has to be Sanatana. So Shri Rupa Sanatana Then this is Bhatta Raghunath. Then this is Sri Jiva. Then there's Gopala Bhatta. And this is Das Raghunath. Based on who was more close to whom. So Raghunath Bhatt and Gopal Bhatt were more close to Sanatan, and Jeev and Raghunath Das were more close to Rupa. Hmm. So now you know who is who.
So, Prabhuji, the fourth personality is Rupa Goswami,
Yeah.
right?
Fourth from left. So Roop, Sanatan. Sorry, I'll mention it again. So this is wait a second. Yeah, so this is Rupa. Sorry, this is Rupa Goswami. This is Sanatan Goswami. This is Raghunath Bhatt Goswami. This is Jeev Goswami. This is Gopal Bhatt Goswami. This is Raghunath Das Goswami. Okay. Right. The first
Prabhuji,
step,
Prabhuji, can you repeat that?
you can watch in the recording again. I'll be sharing, right, the recording. So the first step, control the mind and the senses, bring the mind to goodness. That's what we read just now. Hmm. When we don't control our mind and senses, what happens is that we are forced to engage in wrong activities, right? And at present, our mind and senses are controlled by mode of passion and ignorance, because of which we find very difficult to understand spiritual subject matters. And a disturbed mind cannot be a good tool in Krishna consciousness. So it's like a bad tool, a disturbed mind. So that's why we need to have a controlled mind. Hmm. And if we control our mind, we can protect ourselves from the attacks of Rajaguna and Tamaguna. That's why I always stay in Sattva. Now, why control the mind? Because when the mind is controlled, I can engage in sadhana nicely, I can engage in seva nicely, I can try to give pleasure to Krishna. Hmm. So, though the path of bhakti is the path of grace, which means you depend on mercy, but at the same time, we need to put efforts to attract that mercy. And putting that efforts means trying to rise yourself to the platform of sattva guna. That is called putting efforts in Krishna consciousness. That's required because the science is available, the teachers are available, the process is available, but then I have to make myself also qualified for that process, isn't it? Though the qualification has been reduced to a great extent, but whatever that little extent of qualification is needed, I need to bring myself to that level. Mm. Next paragraph. Please read. Please read. Gopal Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower. A follower of the Krishna consciousness movement should become a perfect Goswami. Vaishnavas are generally known as Goswamis. In Vrindavan, this is the title by which the director of each temple is known. One who wants to become a perfect devotee of Krishna must become a Goswami. Go means the senses, and Swami means the master. Unless one controls his senses and mind, one cannot become a Goswami. To achieve the highest success in life by becoming a Goswami and then a pure devotee of the Lord, one must follow the instructions known as the Upadeshamrita, which have been given by Srila Rupa Goswami. Srila Rupa Goswami has given many other books, such as Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Vidagha Madhava and Lalita Madhav, but Upadeshamrita constitutes the first instructions for neophyte. Prabhuji, can you just slightly for neophyte devotees? One should follow these instructions very strictly, then it will be easier to make one's life successful. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Mm. We read about what do you call, the list of books yesterday also, I mean, the previous class also, you know, the so here we have a very important line uh, in this paragraph, which is advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the followers. Mm. So I was once, when I was in Middle East, I was talking on this line to devotees there. So I was trying to explain that, you see, every single word used by Srila Prabhupada is so important and so deep. Notice this one line, what he says. Advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the person. What he says. Advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the person. He says advancement in
Follower.
Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower. Which means what? Now, he could have also written the word person there, but he wrote the word follower. Which means there might be so many followers in Krishna consciousness who may not have the right attitude. When you use the word follower, what does it mean? It means that person is already following. If you use the word person, person means general. But if you use the word follower, follower means that person is already following some Krishna consciousness. And then he says, advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower. Which means what? Because of our past Sukriti, we might come to Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness was given to us on a plate. It was offered to us. We were not looking for it. It came to us. And it came to us because of some past Sukriti that we had. Right? As soon as we got it, we became a follower. But after we have become a follower, now to make advancement on this process, in this process, on this path, we have to work on our attitude. Right? So there can be two words. One is a follower, and the other is one is a advancing follower or a progressive follower. Right? One is a follower means who is just following. But the other one is who is following and making progress. So Prabhupada says advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower. And that attitude is something which we all have to work on. This is the most difficult thing to work on, and this is what we need to work on in Krishna consciousness. After having come to Krishna consciousness. When I was in Bahrain, I was giving the morning Srimad Bhagavatam class on one of the weekends. So I was explaining to them, the day you join this movement, that day you come to know how to come back to God. Right? It's not that, okay, you wait for 4 years, then we'll reveal the secret to you. No. The day you join, that day you are told what you have to do for whole life to go back to God. Right or wrong? Isn't it? Hmm. It's not that, no, Prabhuji, Bhataji, first you start coming. Then after 6 months, we'll tell you the next step. Then after 12 months, then we tell you that something special, some extra thing that you need to do, back to God. No, on day one. So the process is given to us right on the first day. But then gradually what we have to learn is not What is the process that we know? Okay, some details might be there, how to do deity worship, how to play kartal, mridanga, and all that stuff. But then the actual work that we need to do upon ourselves is change our attitude or make it more favorable for Krishna consciousness. Which means we need to work upon ourselves. Now, what I have personally observed, even for people who have been in the movement for many years, for decades now, they just get so much busy with the external things that they need to do in the institute that they stop thinking about working on themselves. That I have to change. I need to change my perspective, my way of looking at things. You know, I need to become a more genuine, a more, more faithful, more dedicated and surrendered devotee. That people start working on, or even they don't think about it, but they are only busy in the external activities in the institute. I have this seva, I have that seva, I have this project, I have that project, I have this responsibility, that responsibility, this position, that position, this problem, that problem. And the main thing, what is my attitude that we stop working on, or we don't even think about? So God says here, advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower. Very important line. And then he says, we all have to become a Goswami. Go means senses. Swami means master. So Vaishnava is a Goswami, naturally, by default, because a Vaishnava can control his senses. At least a Vaishnava tries. A Vaishnava may not be able to fully control as long as he or she does not become a pure devotee. But a Vaishnava wants to control. A Vaishnava wants to check one's mind and senses. That's for sure, right? So that is there. Hmm? A Vaishnava would want to control one's mind and senses. Uh, Primary instruction of this book is you have to become pure devotees of Krishna. Hmm? And look at the signature of Srila Prabhupada. One cannot dare copy it, no? Prabhupada mentioned in one place that when he was a school student or maybe a college student, once he had signed on his book and his teacher saw it. So the teacher told him that your signature shows that you'll become a great man. Your signature shows that you'll become a great man. And now, how interesting it is that look at Prabhupada's signature, so full of curls and, so long and so full of curls. So one of the disciples of Prabhupada wrote a very beautiful comment on the signature. He says, his hands are dancing in love of Krishna. His fingers are dancing in love of Krishna. You know, his love for Krishna is being shown in that. And if you see Rup Goswami's writing, you get to see that in Ter Kadamba. When you go to Ter Kadamba, you see there's a they have a manuscript of Rup Goswami's writing. I don't know how they managed to convert into a manuscript and then got it laminated. So Rup Goswami's writings are also full of curls, cursive writing and full of curls. So this is handwriting of Golok Vrindavan. Okay, so let's stop here. The preface is over. Any questions? Yes, Sudeep Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat pranams. Prabhuji, this meaning of the word attitude, for me, it was boiling down to the qualities that Krishna mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, like sincerity, humility, determination, and you also mentioned few of them here. So, is that a correct understanding?
Attitude, yes, attitude can also mean qualities. But attitude also means, yeah, it means qualities, of course. The kind of qualities I have will decide my attitude. But attitude also means the way you think, the way you see things, the way you take things, the way you accept things in life. So, of course, a good attitude person means a person full of good qualities. That's true.
Hmm.
But even if you don't have good qualities, if you have good attitude, you will get good qualities.
Hmm.
Right? I have good attitude, then I'll get good qualities. Like let's say a person is very bad, but that person has a strong desire to change. So that's a very good attitude, and that good attitude will bring good qualities.
Hmm. It's only a matter of time that the qualities will manifest.
Yeah, because that person is having that attitude. I want to change. I want to work on myself. I want to become a better devotee of Krishna. So that attitude is most important.
Hmm.
Then good qualities will come slowly, slowly. All the good qualities will come.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Right? Hmm. Anything else? Shall we move on to the next? So you have to memorize 4 verses in this unit. The first 4. Hmm? The first one is Vacho vegam manasah krodha vegam jiva vegam udaropastha vegam etan vegan yo vishaheta dhiraha sarvam apimam prithiving sashishya. Vacho vegam manasah krodha vegam jiva vegam udaropastha vegam etan vegan. These vegas, vega means force, strong force. Just like in Hindi, the current of a river is called Veg. Veg. The river is flowing with a strong current. So Vegas are strong forces or impulses. Etan Vegan yo vishaheta dhiraha sarvam apimam prithving samshishya. So there are impulses in us, very strong impulses. Etan Vegan. Now who is a dhira? One who does not have these impulses? No. Adhira is someone who has these impulses but who can check them. That's Adhira. Not that one does not have these impulses. Now, if you don't have impulses, then what is the point that you can check it or not? Right? So Dhira means one who can check, who can control. That's called a Dhira, a sober person. Hmm. Right? Like for example, someone may say, "Oh, you're a devotee." Then, uh, if you're a devotee, why you feel hungry? Hmm? Or you're a devotee, then why do you have attraction towards opposite sex. Or you're a devotee, why you won't talk? Should not talk. So that is nonsense understanding. Why? Because if I have a material body, then there will be hunger, there will be thirst, there will also be attraction towards opposite sex. Everything will be there, you know. But what makes you a dhira? To not have them? No. To be able to control, check. That's dhira. Hmm? That's dhira. Right? To be able to check, to be able to control, subdue. And the more difficult it is for someone to control, that means that person is not a dhira, dhir purush. Hmm. So someone who can check them can teach others also how to check them or control them. And therefore that person can become a spiritual master or a teacher of people all across the world. Right? Hmm. If someone wants to become a teacher or someone wants to teach to people and the audience is full of variety, then that person has to be really, really self-controlled. You know why? Because this is what I have experienced personally after I started traveling in India, outside India, that if you cannot tolerate, then you cannot have relationship with varieties of people. Why? Because you'll not be able to accommodate them in your life. You are a certain kind of person. So then you'll be able to make good relationship with only a certain kind of people. Right? Only when you can control your mind and senses and become very sober, then you can actually accept different kinds of people with different mentalities, different cultures, different backgrounds. And then you can teach them. Hmm. Otherwise, very difficult. So when it says here that if you want to actually, I mean, be a guru for the whole world, Jagat Guru, like Srila Prabhupada, then you have to be a very, very sober person who sense control or mind control. Otherwise, very difficult. Very difficult. Hmm. And you cannot teach others how to do it. So does Srila Rupa Goswami want us to become a spiritual master of the whole universe? That's why he gives this first instruction. Control your mind and senses and become a guru, become an acharya. Eh? Our teaching is that we should become a disciple, right? Or a shishya. But the first instruction is become guru. That also of the whole world. You do this and you become guru of the whole world. Yes, Sudeep.
Prabhuji, when one becomes a good disciple, naturally he becomes a good teacher because actions speak louder than words. So even though he may not be speaking, but he's actually preaching through his actions.
My question is not that. So, okay, if you want to become a good disciple, then Rupa Goswami should say, no, you do these things and you become a good disciple. Why is he saying you should do all these things and then you become a guru of the whole world? He should then say, no, you do all these things and you become a perfect disciple. And then when you become a perfect disciple, then you can teach people by your example. As you said, you don't even have to say. So why is he saying you do all these things and you become a guru of the whole world? Hmm? So first thing, because I already told you the history of this book. This book was written as an instruction to Jiva Goswami. Acha, you want to become a guru? Jiva Goswami, you want to become a guru? So you first start controlling your tongue, your speech. Then you can become a guru. Then you can debate with people and all that stuff you can do. Mm. Second thing, Rupa Goswami also knows the nature of conditioned souls in Kali Yuga. If you tell them become a disciple, no one will be interested. If you tell them become a guru, so many will be interested. Right? So it's like a hook. It's like a hook. You know, it's like a hook. And the third thing is that also through this book, he's teaching us the qualifications of a genuine guru. So if you want to become a good disciple, you should select a good guru. Now, how do you select a good guru? When you see these qualities in that person, then you know, okay, this person is a qualified guru. And until unless you try to practice developing these qualities, you cannot know who is having these qualities. Because until unless we know how much price we have to pay, we cannot also know who has already paid that price. So that's why this verse is given here. No? Let's read the translation. A sober person who can tolerate the urge to speak, the mind's demands, the actions of anger, and the urges of the tongue, belly, and genitals is qualified to make disciples all over the world. Right? In Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, Prabhupada begins the whole thing in a different note. So these qualities given here, as mentioned by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, are characteristics of a Tridandi Goswami, or these are the qualities of a Madhyamadikari Vaishnava Guru. Madhyamadikari Vaishnava Guru. Minimum qualities of a Madhyamadikari Vaishnava Guru. So now Prabhupada begins the whole purport in a different note. What is it trying to say here? He's talking about prayaschitta, atonement. Why he's talking about prayaschitta or atonement? We'll read that first and then we'll discuss. Okay, someone read, please. Victor, bro.
Hare Krishna Prabhupada. Srimad Bhagavatam 6.1.9 to 10. Parikshit Maharaj placed a number of intelligent questions before Shukdev Goswami. One of these questions was, why do people undergo atonement if they cannot control their senses? For instance, a thief may know perfectly well that he may be arrested for his stealing, and he may actually even see a thief arrested by the police. Yet, he continues to steal. Experience is gathered by hearing and seeing. One who is less intelligent gathers experience by seeing, and one who is more intelligent gathers experience by hearing. When an intelligent person hears from the law books and shastras or scriptures that stealing is not good, and hears that a thief is punished when arrested, he refrains from theft. A less intelligent person may first have to be arrested and punished for stealing to learn to stop stealing. However, a rascal, a foolish man, may have the experience of both hearing and seeing, and may even be punished, but still he continues to steal. Even if such a person atones and is punished by the government, he will again commit theft as soon as he comes out of jail. If punishment in jail is considered atonement, what is the benefit of such atonement? Thus, Parikshit Maharaj inquired, Drishta Shrutabayam Yapam Janan Api Atmano Hitam Karoti Buyo Vivashaha Prayaschittam Ato Katam Gvachin Nivartate Badrat Gvachich Charati Tat Punaham Prayaschittam Ato Partam Manya Kunjara Sauchavat. Shall I continue?
Please.
He compared atonement to
You compare.
Shall I continue, Prabhu?
Yeah.
He compared atonement to an elephant's bathing. The elephant may take a very nice bath in the river, but as soon as it comes onto the bank, it throws dirt all over its body. What, then, is the value of its bathing? Similarly, many spiritual practitioners chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and at the same time commit many forbidden things, thinking that their chanting will counteract their offenses. Of the 10 types of offenses one can commit while chanting the holy name of the Lord, this offense is called Namno Balat Yashyahi Papa Buddhihi, committing sinful activities on the strength of chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Similarly, certain Christians go to church to confess their sins, thinking that confessing their sins before a priest and performing some penance will relieve them from the results of their weekly sins. As soon as Saturday is over and Sunday comes, they again begin their sinful activities, expecting to be forgiven the next Saturday. This kind of prashchitta or atonement is condemned by Parikshit Maharaj, the most intelligent king of his time. Shukdev Goswami, equally intelligent as befitting the spiritual master of Maharaj Parikshit, answered the king and confirmed that his statement concerning atonement was correct. A sinful activity cannot be counteracted by a pious activity. Thus, real prashchitta, atonement, is the awakening of our dormant Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So, any idea why Prabhupada begins the purport by bringing up the topic of atonement or prayashchitta? Hmm? Sudev Prabhu?
Prabhuji, because we are conditioned souls, it's natural for us to make mistakes. And when we make mistakes, for someone on the path of wanting to go higher in life, naturally they want to get a remedy or a solution how they can overcome the how they can correct their mistakes that they have made. So, but Srila Prabhupada here is going to the root of the problem, saying that any correction just made without addressing the root of the problem is useless. It's like a waste of time only.
Okay. Victor Prabhu.
When we start hearing about the problems, how we can fix the problem, that's the root.
Okay. Madhumati Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I would think that Srila Prabhupada wants one to take it very seriously, Krishna consciousness and uh, atonement. If one is ready to do that, it means that the person is serious in Krishna consciousness. So I would take it that way.
Okay. Prabhupada is trying to explain this point here, or Prabhupada is explaining this point here because he wants to tell if we don't control our mind and senses, we'll always be engaged in wrong activities and we'll always have to atone or do prayashchitta. And doing that prayashchitta will not remove our tendency to do the wrong things. So, which means it will be a loop, a vicious loop from which we'll never come out. So, the solution is what? The permanent solution is what? Control your mind and senses. Then if you control them, you don't engage in wrong activities. You don't engage in wrong activities, there is no need of atonement. Right? And if atonement is there, then that atonement can only save us from the sinful reactions, but it cannot save us from sinful tendencies. Like Parikshit Maharaj said, an elephant can go take a bath, clean himself up, but then that elephant maybe becomes dirty again. Similarly, prayaschitta will make us clean for some time, but will become dirty again because of sinful tendencies. So those sinful tendencies have to be checked, and that is possible by controlling the mind and senses. Then because people may say, oh, but till I don't experience, I don't learn. So I'm saying then there are four kinds of people. One who just listens to others' good advice and stops doing the wrong thing and starts doing the right thing. That's most intelligent person. The other one is one who sees others suffer and then does the right thing. The third is someone who personally experiences and then learns. And the fourth one is who never learns. Mm. So there are four kinds of people. And the most intelligent one is one who can hear and understand and love. Mm. He gave examples also. Christians going to the church and confessing. That is atonement. Or Hindus doing some special puja, Brahman puja, Godan, and all this stuff. There is also atonement. Mm. But that does not purify the heart, cleanse the heart. Yeah, this paradigm. Yes, dialogue going to
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Real atonement involves coming to real knowledge, and for this, there is a standard process. When one follows a regulated hygienic process, he does not fall sick. A human being is meant to be trained according to certain principles to revive his original knowledge. Such a methodical life is described as tapasya. One can be gradually elevated to the standard of real knowledge or Krishna consciousness by practicing austerity and celibacy, brahmacharya, by controlling the mind, by controlling the senses, by giving up one's position in charity, by being avowed truthful, by keeping clean, and by practicing yoga, asanas. However, if one is fortunate enough to get the association of a pure devotee, he can easily surpass all the practices for controlling the mind by the mystic yoga process simply by following the regulative principle of Krishna consciousness, refraining from illicit sex, meat eating, intoxication, and gambling, and by engaging in the service of the Supreme Lord under the direction of a bona fide spiritual master. Prabhuji, this this easy process is being recommended by Srila Rupa Goswami.
yes. So real atonement comes by having real knowledge. Like Prabhupada says here, if you follow a hygienic process, you'll not get sick. Similarly, if you live a pure life, there won't be any need of atonement. So you follow certain principles to revive that original knowledge. And that life, methodical life, is called tapasya. So to live life in regulation is basically called tapasya. You know? So by that one can come to the standard of real knowledge of Krishna consciousness. Ah. So there are two ways. One is the indirect way, the long way, and the other is the direct way, the short way. The indirect way is that of yoga system, Ashtanga yoga, practicing celibacy, controlling mind and senses, eating less, sleeping less, living in seclusion, all that. So through that one will slowly, yes, come to the level of Krishna consciousness. Hmm. The other is what? The other is shortcut. You meet a pure devotee of Krishna or you meet devotees of Krishna. And then they instruct you on the basic teachings of Krishna consciousness. And you start following right from day one. Right. In that way, you immediately come to Krishna consciousness. Hmm. Next. So first, what we need to do. We'll take a break, 2 minutes break before beginning the next paragraph. So these are the 4 types of people that Srila Prabhupada talks about. And then he gives some example of people who go through this process of atonement, false atonement, you know. So bathing in the Ganges and then again committing sinful activities, going to pilgrimage and again engaging in sinful activities, weekly confessions by Christians, or committing sinful activities on the strength of the holy name. Right? Then what is real atonement? He mentions atonement. Real atonement means attainment of real knowledge, becoming a really, truly knowledgeable person. What is right, what is wrong. Awakening of dormant Krishna consciousness. Mhm. And performance of austerity, right? Living a regulated life. So then he talks about general austerity. What is general austerity? Brahmacharya, mind control, sense control, giving charity, being truthful, remaining clean and pure, practicing yoga asanas. And what is special austerity? That you, in the association and guidance of pure devotees of Krishna, you follow 4 regulated principles and you engage in service to Krishna. You engage in devotional service to Krishna. So there are 6 urges explained in this verse, and they can be divided into 3 types: verbal, mental, physical. This division is given by Srila Bhakti-sastri Saraswati Thakur in his Anuvritti Tika. So the verbal urge, the mental urge, and the physical urge. The verbal urge is the urge of speech, talking. Then the urge of mind is that of mind, as well as anger. Krodha also is being put in the same category. Because krodha means that our desire, what our desire is, what our wishes is not getting fulfilled. So we get angry then. So that's related to again the mind. And then there's physical, of the tongue, the belly, and the genitals. So these are the categorization. Avirodha Priti and Virodha Yukta Krodha, that I'll explain in the next class what it means. Avirodha Priti means, okay, let me explain now itself. Priti means attachment or attraction. Avirodha, Virodha means restriction. Avirodha means unrestricted attachment. So when we have unrestricted attachment towards anything, that's wrong. Mind should be controlled. It should not be allowed to have unrestricted attachment to anything. Avirodha Priti. Or Virodha Yukta Krodh. Virodha Yukta Krodh means that there is anger. Why there is anger? There is anger because of Virodha. Virodha means there is restriction put on you, and because of that you are getting angry. Virodha Yukta Krodh. Or you have anger or resentment towards doing the right things. When someone tells you to do the right thing, you get angry. So that's all Virodhi Yukta Krodh. So both of them fall in the category of mind's attachment. One who controls these 6 urges is called a Goswami. And then starts with Vachavi, the first one. Urge to speak. Uncontrolled urge to speak. So first one was control one's speaking power. Everyone has been given this power, the gift, the ability to speak. Everyone is awarded this gift. As soon as we get a chance to speak, we start speaking. As soon as we get an opportunity. So first one was control the speaking power. And what is the right understanding? Everything that we have, which has been given to us, actually is Krishna's property. It belongs to Krishna. We studied that in Isha Parisha. Isha Vasyamidam Sarvam Yat Kencha Jagatyam Jagat Tena tena bhunjita magridah kasya svidhanam. Right? So everything belongs to Krishna. Everything is Krishna's property. Isha Vasyam. So everything should be used or utilized in Krishna's seva. So this speech, the ability to speak, is also Krishna's energy. It's an ability which Krishna has given to us. And we should use that in Krishna's service. Right? So best use of the power of speech is to speak about Krishna, talk about Krishna or Krishna consciousness. Speaking about mundane things or mundane subject matters, writing books on mundane subject matters. That's not the right use of speech. People can just talk and talk and talk, all nonsense. And what are the different ways of engaging in talking? You can talk by speaking, you can talk by writing, you can talk in your mind, right? Writing is also kind of speech only. What's put in the form of notes or whatever. What instead of talking, one is writing. And one is having this internal dialogue that is also speech. So how do different kinds of people misuse this ability? The karmis or the vikarmis, they talk about unrestricted material enjoyment because they want material enjoyment badly. They talk about that a lot. Unrestricted material enjoyment. The karma kandis, they'll talk about material enjoyment on the basis of the Vedas. And the Gyanis, they'll talk about different philosophical subject matters which are against the principle of bhakti. Right? Now let's read the purpose. Someone please read this paragraph. Rukmini Govindra.
First, one must control his speaking power.
You have to be a little loud. Yeah, okay.
Every one of us,
First, one
every one
must
of us,
start from this first.
first one must control his speaking power. Every one of us has the power of speech. As soon as we get an opportunity, we begin to speak. If we do not speak about Krishna consciousness, we speak about all sorts of nonsense. A toad in a field speaks by croaking, and similarly, everyone who has a tongue wants to speak, even if all he has to say is nonsense. The croaking of the toad, however, simply invites the snake, please come here and eat me. Nevertheless, although it is inviting death, the toad goes on croaking. The talking of materialistic men and impersonalist Mayavadi philosophers may be compared to the croaking of frogs. They are always speaking nonsense and thus inviting uh, to catch them, to catch them. Controlling speech, death, death to catch them. Controlling speech, however, does not mean self-imposed silence, the external process of mauna, as Mayavadi philosophers think. Silence may appear helpful for some time, but ultimately it proves a failure. The meaning of controlled speech conveyed by Srila Rupa Goswami advocates the positive process of Krishna Katha, engaging the speaking process in glorifying the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. The tongue can thus glorify the name, form, qualities, and pastimes of the Lord. The preacher of Krishna Katha is always beyond the clutches of death. This is the significance of controlling the urge to speak.
Yeah. Easy to understand, right? Simple instructions. Next paragraph. Yes, Sudhir. Prabhu.
You want me to read, Prabhu?
Yeah.
Prabhu, you want me to read?
Yes.
The restlessness or fickleness of the mind, manovega, is controlled when one can fix his mind on the lotus feet of Krishna. The Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 22.31 says, Krishna Surya Sama Maya Hayandakara Yahan Krishna Tahan Nahi Maya Radhikara. Krishna is just like the sun and Maya is just like darkness. If the sun is present, there is no question of darkness. Similarly, if Krishna is present in the mind, there is no possibility of the minds being agitated by Maya's influence. The yogic process of negating all material thoughts will not help. To try to create a vacuum in the mind is artificial. The vacuum will not remain. However, if one always thinks of Krishna and how to serve Krishna best, one's mind will naturally be controlled.
Correct. So the way to control the mind is to always think of Krishna, or keep the mind on Krishna, a lotus feet of Krishna. If the sun is present, there is no question of darkness. Similarly, if Krishna is present in the mind, there is no possibility of mind being agitated by Maya's influence. So when I say Krishna being present in the mind, or when we say we talk about Krishna, it includes everything. It includes Krishna Nam, Krishna Seva, Krishna Gun, Krishna Rupa, Krishna's devotees, the process of bhakti, everything. Right? So if I'm busy planning how to serve Krishna, that is also keeping the mind engaged in Krishna. Right? If I'm talking about how to serve Krishna, that is also keeping the tongue engaged in Krishna. So the yogic process of negating all material thoughts will not help. To try to create a vacuum is artificial. I mean, a vacuum in the mind. The vacuum will not remain. Hmm? However, if one always thinks of Krishna and how to serve Krishna best, one's mind will naturally be controlled. Hmm? One's mind will be naturally controlled. Naturally controlled means without extra efforts. Next paragraph. Sonika Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam. Similarly, anger can be controlled. We cannot stop anger altogether, but if we simply become angry with those who blaspheme the Lord of devotees of the Lord, we control our anger in Krishna consciousness. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became angry with the miscreant brother Jagai and Madhai, who blasphemed and struck Nityanand Prabhu. In his Sikshastaka, Lord Lord Chaitanya wrote, Tranadapi Sunichen Tararapi Sahishnan. One should be humbler than the grass and more tolerant than the tree. One may then ask why the Lord exhibit his anger. The point is that one should be ready to tolerate all insult to one's own self. But when Krishna or his pure devotee is blasphemed, a genuine devotee become angry and act like fire against the offenders. Krodha, anger cannot be stern, but it can be applied rightly. It can be applied rightly. It was in anger that Hanuman set fire to Lanka, but he is worshipped as a greatest devotee of Lord Ramchandra. This means that he utilized his anger in the right way. Arjun serves as another example. He was not willing to fight, but Krishna initiated initiated his anger, you must fight. To fight without
Incited.
incited his anger, you must fight. To fight without anger is not possible. Anger is controlled, however, when utilized in the service of Lord. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
So similarly, anger can be controlled by using it in Krishna consciousness. We cannot stop anger, but we should become angry where it is related to bhakti, service to Krishna. That's how you purify anger. So you bring anything in contact with Krishna, it becomes right or pure. And you remove Krishna from everything or anything, that thing becomes then wrong. So anger is not wrong if it's connected to Krishna or Krishna Seva. Prabhupada giving example. Lord Chaitanya got angry on Jagai Matai, right? Then we have Arjuna who got angry on the Kauravas. Hanumanji got angry on Ravana and the people of Lanka. So that was all true anger, genuine anger, right kind of anger. So in that way we can channelize our anger. That's why you'll see sometimes that Prabhupada, if he did not get a chance to be angry on someone, he would get angry in his classes and start speak very strongly about the Mayavadis. In that way, he would release his anger by talking about those offenders to Krishna. So in that way, the anger is channelized. Okay, so that makes the whole process of Krishna consciousness very beautiful. Everything can be used in Krishna's name. Any questions or comments? We'll stop here. We'll discuss more on this verse in the next class.
Hare Krishna Babu. In the slides, when we were discussing about the atonements, when there was one point about pilgrimage. So sometimes people go to pilgrimage not for atonement, but just to do service. So how is pilgrimage used only for atonement? How is a good way to approach a pilgrimage place?
Pilgrimage place, how is it used for atonement? Same way, just like people go to Ganga for taking bath. So people go for different yatras. Let me go to Kashi. If I go there, then my this sinful activity will get atoned. Or I go to this particular place and I take bath in the Kunda, then this particular sin will go. So like that, same mentality. So if we avoid that, we go for a yatra to increase our Krishna consciousness, not to get free from our sinful reactions. We go for yatra to get association of Vaishnavas, to get more chance of hearing and chanting about Krishna. That's all. That's the right way to go for a pilgrimage. To be more Krishna conscious. Hear about Krishna, chant about Krishna. Sing and dance in Krishna. Kirtan.
Okay.
So this Prabhupada.
Prabhu, I have a question regarding this urge to speak. In devotee circles also, sometimes we see that devotees, they talk about some political matters related to devotees or some management issues, whatever it is. And most of the times it is like they don't have any control over, they don't have a solution, or they don't have any control over the circumstances that are being discussed. So for me, if I were to not have control over any issues, then even if I were to talk, that is an indication of urge to speak, no, Prabhu?
Yeah. Well, when you say urge to speak, anytime you speak, there's an urge to speak. But the thing is, okay, this is fine, this is acceptable, this is not fine, not acceptable. Urge to speak will always be there as long as we have a mouth and a tongue. We won't stop. So that urge has to be controlled, which means what? What I should say, what I should not say, when I should say, when I should not say, how much I should say, how much I should not say, to whom I should say, to whom I should not say. That. That's for control or check.
Even though it may seem it is Krishna related, but one has to be really careful as per the guidelines you're giving, where to speak, what to
Yeah,
speak.
you have to be careful. Even if it's related to Krishna or Krishna consciousness,
Mhm.
we have
Thank
to be careful. How much you talk and how much you listen. Yes, they are a conclusion.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandaprana. So, Prabhuji, I wanted to just check with you the understanding of these two, Avirod Priti and Virod Yukta Prem, Virod Yukta Krodh. So, are these actually both the qualities of the mind? And is this understanding correct that when you have this urge, when your mind says, I want this, I want this, I want this, that is Avirodha Priti, and when your mind says, I don't want this, I don't want this, that is Virod Yukta Krodh.
Yeah. Avirod Priti means unrestricted attachment or urge requirement. Avirod Priti. And Virod Yukt Krodh means there's something which you should be doing and you don't want to do it. There's strong, strong rejection of it. Virod Yukta. Mm. Anything else? Okay, we'll stop then. See you on Monday. Mm. All right. Very good.